Stop for a moment. Whatever you are carrying right now, set it down inside yourself and listen, because what I am about to say is for you, and it is not sluchily reaching you. You have been walking with a heaviness that people around you do not seem to notice, and that invisibility has almost hurt more than the burden itself, because you have smiled through what has been pressing on your chest, and you have answered lightly when your whole spirit has been asking for relief. You have kept moving, while something in you has been asking, quietly and repeatedly, why does it feel like I am being overlooked when I know I'm not ordinary? You have felt the ache of carrying more awareness than the room can hold, and you have wondered why your effort seems to arrive late in other people's eyes, even when you have been faithful, even when you have been steady, even when you have been sincere. Stay with me, because by the end of this message you are going to recognize the signs that have been following you. You are going to understand the pattern beneath them, and you are going to hear a declaration spoken over your life that explains why this moment found you now. By the time we close, you will know why certain doors have resisted you, why certain relationships have lost their weight, and why the old way of measuring yourself has started to fail. You will understand what the repeated interruptions have really been saying, and you will see why the silence around you has not been absence, but preparation. You did not arrive here by accident. You came by appointment, because there are moments when life does not simply happen to you. It calls you forward, and this is one of those moments, the kind that reaches a person exactly when their spirit has become ready to hear what their mind has not yet been able to name. Something has been happening to you, and you have probably tried to explain it away in ordinary language. But ordinary language has not been enough, because what is moving around you is deeper than mood and wider than coincidence. For weeks, maybe longer, you have been waking at unusual hours and lying there with that strange alertness in your body, as if your soul had stepped closer to the surface while the rest of the house stayed still. Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Zuru readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment. You have felt the room before dawn, that particular silence with its weight on your skin, and you have said to yourself, why am I awake again? But the question underneath the question has been, what is trying to reach me? You have also felt sudden waves, moments when your chest tightens for no obvious reason, or your eyes fill while you are doing something completely ordinary, like washing dishes, driving home, standing in line, folding clothes, and you think, this is not even about this moment, because it is not. It is older than the moment. It is deeper than the moment. It is the body remembering what the mind has not yet translated. And then there are the conversations that used to hold you, but no longer do. Words that once made sense now sound thin. A promise someone made, a role you accepted, a label you wore, an explanation you repeated for years, and suddenly you stand inside those old sentences and feel the air leave them, as if something inside you has become too honest to live in what was once enough. You may also have noticed numbers, small repeated signals, patterns that keep appearing in quiet places where you are not looking for them. You glance at a clock, a receipt, a street sign, a page, and there it is again, that same repetition, That same insistence, that same gentle pressure on your attention, as though life keeps placing a finger on the exact spot you have been ignoring. None of those signs are here to frighten you. They are not warnings in the way fear likes to name things. They are confirmations. They are the sound of your life answering you before your mind has fully agreed to listen. They are the way heaven or grace or truth, depending on the language your heart trusts most, keeps tapping the glass until you finally turn toward it. What you have been calling confusion is often recognition in an early form. What you have been calling restlessness is often a door beginning to open from the other side. What you have been calling emotional exhaustion is often the soul refusing to stay numb where it used to survive by becoming small. So do not rush past the signs. Let them speak. Let them be what they are. Let them confirm that something in you is no longer available to the old arrangement. Pause here and take one breath with me. Let this land before you ask it to make sense. Let your spirit hear what your mind can name later. If even one of those signs has been touching your life, if any part of you has felt that repeated call, type the number 888 in the comments. That number is the sound of overflow, the sign that what has been withheld is no longer the final word. Type 888, then come back to me. Because beneath those signs is one single pattern, and once you see it, the rest of your life begins to read differently. The pattern is this. You have been trying to earn recognition from places that were never built to recognize your depth. You have been trying to prove worth in rooms that only understand performance. You have been trying to remain loyal to versions of yourself that were created under pressure, not under truth. This pattern does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like over-explaining. Sometimes it looks like staying quiet when you should have spoken. Sometimes it looks like becoming the dependable one, the strong one, the one who absorbs disappointment and keeps going, until even your strength starts to feel like a burden you cannot put down. And because this pattern has been with you so long, it has touched many parts of your story. It has shaped how you enter conversations, how you answer criticism, how you interpret delay, how you react to silence, how quickly you assume that being unseen means being unwanted. It has taught you to tighten before you are hurt, to prepare before you are asked, to carry before anyone notices you are carrying. But I need you to hear this clearly. It was never because you were not enough. It was never because you lacked value. It was never because your life was too small to matter. The pattern formed around you in response to pressure, and pressure is not identity. Pressure is not your name. Pressure is not the truth of who you are. What has cost you the most is not the pain alone, but the adaptation to the pain. The silent cost has been the way you learned to shrink your own expectation just to remain emotionally safe. The silent cost has been the way you learned to anticipate less so you could hurt less. The silent cost has been the way you began to call survival wisdom when it was really exhaustion wearing a wise face. And still, even there, something in you refused to disappear. Something in you kept an inner record. Something in you kept saying, "This cannot be all." That refusal is not rebellion. It is memory. It is the part of you that still knows there is more life than the pattern has been allowed to permit. But there is a layer beneath this one, and I want to take you there carefully, because the next thing is not a technique. It is not a formula. It is not a list of tasks. It is a return to an image your spirit has been carrying for a long time. Imagine a courtyard that once held light. Imagine stone warmed by morning sun, a center space meant for gathering, a place where voices could move freely, where breath could be easy, where nothing had to be defended just to exist. That courtyard is your inner life, and for a long time it has been partly covered, partly guarded, partly abandoned to weather it did not choose. At the edge of that courtyard stands a gate that was meant to open both ways, but somewhere along the way it began to hold only one direction. It let in demands, noise, expectation, other people's urgency, other people's fear. And it let out your own tenderness in pieces. So you learned the shape of the locked gate. You learned the sound of feet outside it. You learned how to stand inside while pretending the courtyard was enough, even as the air grew stale. Long ago, something happened in that inner place. It may have been one sentence, one disappointment, one look, one season, one absence that taught you to stop expecting the courtyard to be honored. It may have been subtle enough that you barely named it, but your body named it anyway. Your shoulders named it, your jaw named it, your breathing named it, your spirit named it by keeping watch. So the gate stayed closed, not because you forgot how to open it, but because you learned to protect what was inside from being handled carelessly. That was not weakness. That was intelligence under threat. That was a heart making a shelter out of its own restraint. And because the courtyard stayed guarded, your voice dimmed there. Not gone, just dimmed. The words you would have spoken did not fully leave. The truth you would have offered did not fully land. The joy that should have spread across that open space learned to wait at the threshold instead of entering. You have been living with a beautiful inner place that has not yet been fully visited by its own owner. But hear this, a closed gate is not the same as a broken gate. A covered courtyard is not a ruined one. A voice that has dimmed is not a voice that has died. Something has begun to move there again. The light is changing. The silence is no longer empty in the same way. You may not have words for it yet, but your life is beginning to lean toward its own center again, and that leaning is sacred. Sit with that for a moment. Do not rush the picture away. Let the courtyard stay in you long enough to be recognized. If the image of that courtyard, that gate, that inner place has settled somewhere deep in you, type the words "I see it" in the comments. Let the recognition seal where it has landed. Type "I see it," then come back to me. Because what comes next is the return, and the return is not you becoming someone else. It is you coming back to what was always yours. You do not need to invent a new self from scratch. You do not need to force a personality that sounds stronger than the one you have lived in. You do not need to become louder just to deserve space. The return begins when you stop treating your own depth like a problem to be managed. The return is what happens when the gate opens from the inside. The return is what happens when you allow the courtyard to be honored again, not as a performance space, not as a stage, but as a living center. The return is what happens when you stop begging for permission from the very pressures that taught you to doubt yourself. You are not being asked to build worth. You are being asked to receive it. You are not being asked to manufacture peace. You are being asked to let peace occupy the room where vigilance has been standing guard. You are not being asked to perform readiness. You are being asked to recognize that something in you has already become ready. So the practice now is simple, and simplicity is often where the deepest things hide. In the morning, before the day takes your attention, place your hand over your chest and speak one quiet sentence that tells the truth about who you are without asking anyone else to approve it. Do not make it elaborate. Do not make it impressive. Make it honest. Let it be the first thing that enters the courtyard. Then later in the day, when the old pattern begins to pull you toward over-explaining, pause before you answer. Feel the floor beneath you. Feel the breath in your body. Ask yourself whether you are speaking from the gate or from the courtyard. One is protective. One is free. One is reaction. One is presence. This is not about forcing change. This is about tending what is already alive. You are not trying to become worthy. You are learning to behave like someone who has finally believed they were worthy all along. And when you notice the old reflex to hide, do not shame it, tend it. When you notice the instinct to shrink, do not condemn it, tend it. When you notice the fear that says it is safer to remain unseen, answer it with patience, not violence, because even fear has been trying, in its own distorted way, to keep you from being hurt again. This is why the return feels tender. It does not come with noise. It comes with steadiness. It comes with your life slowly re-entering its own center, one honest breath at a time. Let that be enough for now. Let the courtyard remember you. Let the gate begin to yield. Let the breath become a permission you do not have to earn. If something inside you has just sealed in this moment, if the image has landed in a place you cannot fully explain, type the words, "I am here," in the comments. Let the recognition become permanent in your own record. Type, "I am here," then come back to me. Because the next thing is the part many people miss. The life you have been waiting for does not arrive by force. It arrives by alignment. It arrives when you stop abandoning yourself at the threshold of your own becoming. You are beginning to understand that your burden was not proof of abandonment. It was often the place where your deepest truth refused to be erased. You are beginning to see that what looked like delay was sometimes mercy, because not every environment can hold the version of you that is now emerging. So receive this as a calm correction. You do not have to chase what is already moving toward you in rightful measure. You do not have to strain for what becomes visible when you stand in your true place. You do not have to contract your spirit to fit the expectations of people who never learned how to honor a full courtyard. Some things in your life will now only work when they are met with truth instead of performance. Some relationships will now only remain if they can survive honesty. Some opportunities will now only fit if they do not require your self-erasure as admission. That is not loss. That is discernment. And yes, there are still days when you will feel the pull of the old gate, the old habit, the old sentence that tells you to keep yourself small. But now you know the language of return. Now you know how to recognize what belongs to the courtyard and what belongs to the weather outside it. You may even notice that as you speak more honestly, certain people will no longer know what to do with you. Let them be confused. Confusion from others is not always a sign that you are wrong. Sometimes it is proof that you have outgrown the role they assigned you. Your life is not being reduced, it is being clarified. Your voice is not disappearing, it is gathering strength. Your quiet is not emptiness, it is becoming a place of authority. If this message has confirmed something your spirit already knew, let your light be your amen, without words. Not as a metric, as an agreement that what was named here was named correctly. Breathe here. Let it settle into the part of you that has waited the longest to be recognized. There is someone in your life who came to mind while these words were moving, and that is not random. You are thinking of someone quietly tired, someone who has been carrying responsibility without being seen, someone who has kept a composed face while their inner world has been asking for rest. You may also be thinking of someone who is secretly seeking more than they admit, someone who looks stable on the outside but is emotionally standing at a threshold, someone whose presence is gentle because their pain has taught them how to move carefully. Or perhaps you are thinking of someone who has held a posture nobody around them understands, someone steady, observant, and a little withdrawn, not because they do not care, but because they care too deeply to waste themselves on what is shallow. That person came to mind because this message is not only recognition, it is delivery. Some things are meant to arrive through relationship, through memory, through the quiet nudge of knowing. And if someone came to mind, that is part of the appointment too. Do not turn that into a performance. Do not turn it into an argument. Simply let it be what it is. A nudge toward care, a movement of attention, a way of saying that what was spoken here can continue beyond you and reach another heart that has been waiting in silence. Before this closes, type the words "I am chosen" in the comments, not as a wish, not as a hope, as a confirmation. Let your fingers do what your spirit has already begun to accept. I am chosen. You are confirmed in what is true. You are steadied in what has been shaken. You are being gathered back into yourself with a tenderness that does not hurry and does not fail. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are entering the place where your life begins to agree with your soul. You are stepping into a season where what was hidden becomes clear, where what was scattered becomes ordered, where what was dimmed begins to shine without strain. You are learning how to stand without apology in the space that was always meant to hold you. Right now, all across the world, there are others hearing the same kind of recognition in different rooms, on different roads, in different hours of the night, and though they may never know your name, you are not alone in this hearing. You are part of a quiet gathering of hearts that are being called back to truth, and that is real. It is sealed. You are not being released from this moment. You are being gathered by it, and what has opened in you tonight is not a passing feeling, but a recognition that will keep unfolding after the words stop. You are confirmed in what you have carried. You are steadied in what has tried to shake you. You are being restored in the exact place where you once learned to doubt your own center. You are not too late for what is yours. You are not unseen to the one who measures you rightly. You are not standing at the edge of your life by accident, because even this pause is shaping the ground beneath your next step. You are learning to move without apology. You are learning to breathe without fear. You are learning to stand in your own courtyard again, and nothing false can remain comfortable there for long. You are allowed to be honest now. You are allowed to be quiet without disappearing. You are allowed to be powerful without performing that power for the room. You are allowed to let the old gate stay open. You are allowed to let the light enter where you once kept watch. You are allowed to receive what your life has been circling for so long. You are not fragile in the way fear named you. You are not broken in the way delay tried to convince you. You are becoming clear. And clarity always feels like a kind of revelation before it feels like peace. You are being delivered from the need to explain yourself to places that never learned your language. You are being drawn back to the center where your voice does not need permission to be true. You are not becoming someone else. You are returning to the one who was there before the pressure taught you to fold inward. That one is still here. That one has been waiting. You are safe to let the courtyard breathe again. You are safe to let the gate move. You are safe to let the sound of your own life return without shame. You are safe to become visible in the right way, in the right timing, with the right weight. You are safe to be known where you are meant to be known, and left in peace where you are not. You are not being rushed. You are being prepared. You are not being denied. You are being made ready for what cannot be carried by a smaller version of you. Right now, all across the world, there are hearts receiving their own recognition in silence, in bedrooms, in kitchens, in parked cars, in empty hallways, in the private places where no one else sees the turning. You are part of that quiet gathering. You are not alone in the hearing. It is sealed. You are not being released from this moment. You are being gathered by it, and what has opened in you tonight is not a passing feeling, but a recognition that will keep unfolding after the words stop. You are confirmed in what you have carried. You are steadied in what has tried to shake you. You are being restored in the exact place where you once learned to doubt your own center. You are not too late for what is yours. You are not unseen to the one who measures you rightly. You are not standing at the edge of your life by accident, because even this pause is shaping the ground beneath your next step. You are learning to move without apology. You are learning to breathe without fear. You are learning to stand in your own courtyard again, and nothing false can remain comfortable there for long. You are allowed to be honest now. You are allowed to be quiet without disappearing. You are allowed to be powerful without performing that power for the room. You are allowed to let the old gate stay open. You are allowed to let the light enter where you once kept watch. You are allowed to receive what your life has been circling for so long. You are not fragile in the way fear named you. You are not broken in the way delay tried to convince you. You are becoming clear, and clarity always feels like a kind of revelation before it feels like peace. You are being delivered from the need to explain yourself to places that never learned your language. You are being drawn back to the center where your voice does not need permission to be true. You are not becoming someone else. You are returning to the one who was there before the pressure taught you to fold inward. That one is still here. That one has been waiting. You are safe to let the courtyard breathe again. You are safe to let the gate move. You are safe to let the sound of your own life return without shame. You are safe to become visible in the right way, in the right timing, with the right weight. You are safe to be known where you are meant to be known, and left in peace where you are not. You are not being rushed. You are being prepared. You are not being denied. You are being made ready for what cannot be carried by a smaller version of you. Right now, all across the world, there are heart attention. You need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Zuzazara readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.